Somewhere on the ancient red soils of Africa, nestled against the breath of tall mountains and the roar of falling water, there was a village. It had always been there, long before memory, long before time had a name. And on this particular morning, the air already knew something was coming. The women were already awake before the sun dared to fully rise. Fires crackled beneath heavy clay pots. Steam rose into the cold morning air. The smell of cooking wrapped around the huts like a warm cloth. They sang as they worked old songs, the kind that carry prayers inside the melody. But today, the songs felt heavier than usual. The men bent over the stone grinders, pushing and pulling the maize with weathered hands. Grain to dust, dust to meal. The grinding sound filled the morning like a slow drum. It was honest, simple work, the kind of work that does not ask anything of you except your effort. I watched them and thought, how I wish that was all that was being asked of me today. Elsewhere, the meat was being prepared. Large cuts laid across the fire, fat hissing and spitting into the flames below. The smell was rich and ancient, the kind that stirs something deep in the stomach. Men laughed and spoke in low voices as they worked. Spears rested nearby against the bark of trees. Always nearby, never far. This village never forgot what it was. Then I saw them, the warriors, standing like trees that had refused to fall. Tall, broad, painted. Their spears caught the first light of morning like blades of fire. Their shields, thick animal hide, had seen battles before this one. These were men built by generations of war and ceremony. Men the ancestors had already approved of. Men who did not tremble. And then there was I, standing among them, or rather, standing somewhere beneath their shoulders. Smaller, lighter. My spear was almost too long for my grip. My animal skin sat loose on my frame. I was a warrior by selection, not by appearance. The others did not mock me openly, but I could feel their doubt, and truth be told, it echoed my own. I sat alone against the cold mud wall, with my hand pressed hard against my chest, feeling my heart argue with everything my legs were about to do. My grandfather came to me quietly, knelt beside me, placed his steady hand on my shoulder, and told me that what is chosen is never chosen by accident. I wanted to believe him, but fear is a loud thing, and so my mind drifted, far from the spears and the painted faces, to an open green pasture where cattle grazed slowly and children laughed about nothing important. I thought to myself, what if I had simply chosen the cattle? Would the ancestors have understood? Would I have been lesser? Would I have even cared? The community gathered and formed the circle without being told. Ancient muscle memory, this arrangement. Torches were lit. The elders took their seats. And then my name was called. My legs walked without asking my permission, carrying my small frame through the parting crowd and into the arena, my long shadow stretching ahead of me on the dry earth. He was already there, waiting. Twice my size, face painted red and black, spear raised before I had even settled my feet. His eyes did not blink when they found mine. This was not a man who doubted. And standing there in the dust, the mountains watching, the waterfall roaring on without care, I realized I had never felt so small in all my life. Then he moved in a way I had never seen. A sudden spinning strike my body had no answer for. The ground came up faster than I understood. My shield gone, my spear gone, my cheek meeting the earth with a sound I felt more than heard. And when the dust settled, his shadow fell over me first, then his silhouette, then the tip of his spear, aimed downward with slow, unhurried certainty. The waterfall still roared in the distance, the only thing in the world that did not care what was happening to me. And the spear kept coming closer, closer. And I woke up, bolt upright in the dark, heart slamming, hand flying to my chest, just to confirm I was still whole. The hut was quiet. Moonlight pressed softly through the small window. No spear, no painted face above me. Just the night, just my breath. It was only a dream, but my hands were still shaking.